Sachs, here. Marla Exter.
Here.
Chuck Lydic, here. Mark Hudson. Here. Paul Maxey.
He's sick.
Tom Manning.
Here.
Andrew Belmar. Here. Carol Schuler.
Here.
Announcements. Township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing minutes, and recording is destroyed 6 months after the minutes are approved. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 2 minutes unless such time is extended by the chairman for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and be respected when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors will provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed, but prior to the adjournment of the public meeting, adopted 1/30/18. Administration actions. Approval to pay October invoices and accept treasurer's monthly report.
Also moved.
Second.
Any questions? Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of minutes.
There are several listed on the agenda. Were all three supervisors present for all of these meetings?
I was not present during the September 24th meeting.
So let's handle them separately for everything set to September 24th. Everybody had a chance to review them, or do we need more time?
I personally would like more time to finish the first four.
Is there a motion then as regards September 24th minutes?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment on agenda items. Any public comment on agenda items? Yes.
Jerry Schweikert, Schweikert Road. I just had a question
Sorry,
regarding
Sherry, could you stand up so we can hear you?
Jerry Schweikert, Schweikert Road. I have a question on the treasurer's report. We're looking at the subdivision, I'm going to call it Ragusa, but it has a new name. I'm seeing the value of about $3,000 that's being escrowed there, being held. I thought that that was going to be increased by a significant amount.
We asked them to increase it, and we made that back. They have paid all their bills, they're up to date on all their bills, they just haven't increased that yet. We'll send another letter asking them to increase that back to the full amount.
Any other comment? Arguing Valley Library presentation.
I'm Eileen Johnson, branch manager for Oakland Valley Library, the library. I have with me Liz Dyer, she's on our board, vice president this time around. And the library very much appreciates the support from Lower Frederick. We've already received a check this year, which is wonderful. It definitely helps us, especially because right now, if you haven't been around the building, there's lots of scaffolding. The board looked out in the spring, trying to do some repointing on our building, and it was going to cost them $15,000. When they got into our walls, our construction issues were much more severe. Our project is over $400,000. So the library is definitely looking for funding. If you would like to support a little more, that would be very nice. If anybody else has deep pockets, please share. It has affected the library in a lot of ways. If you haven't seen our fall newsletter, I still have it here. And we've had to reduce the number of programs we're doing. We couldn't run our fall book sale this year because of the construction going on. So it's really impacting the activities of the library. When it's all said and done, the library will be still standing more solid than it apparently was. Cosmetically, there's only one thing you're going to notice on the front of the building. There's a door that's going to get bricked over. We're not expanding anything. We're not doing anything to increase our volume of space or anything like that. We just want to keep the building going, keep it solid, and we want to make sure you are aware of this. The board is working really hard to put funding together for it. Over the decades, they've carefully curated the funds for emergency purposes. This is beyond the emergency purposes for them. They're liquidating a lot of funds that they were hoping to keep for future. So it's really going to affect everything we're doing. Oh, cool thing, yes. I also have copies of the end of September, beginning of October. If you didn't get it, I got copies, or you can have it on the webpage. The cool thing we had this year is knowing that we had some dire circumstances with our financing, we have an anonymous donor who is matching up to $25,000. So that's really cool. Your $1 equals 2, and that counts. Pennies count. The really cool thing is right now we're up over 16,000. So we're making a dent towards that 25. We would love to exceed that. If we can do that, it'd be really nice. So, do you guys have any questions? Anybody?
Any questions?
We come out twice a year. This is our second time, so we'll see you again in the spring then. Hopefully, we better just say our building is still standing and we got more funding. But we definitely wants to continue supporting the municipalities, and municipalities are very generous in supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Melbourne Hills.
Good evening. We are representing Melbourne Hills. A few weeks ago, we were in front of the Planning Commission, had a lengthy discussion about this project, particularly the sewer issue, and as well as the number and size of lots within the community. I think it was a lengthy discussion. I think towards the end of that discussion, the Planning Commission started to discuss possibility of some alternatives and some creative ways of perhaps approaching this. So we're here to continue that discussion this evening. We are first looking to the board for direction on the fundamental issue of whether you would like to see some sort of community system in some fashion to not only service this particular development, but perhaps some other properties outside of this development. Or whether you simply want this to be served by systems that are just within this property, just serving this property. So we need that direction in the first instance. Secondly, I guess in the interest of good faith moving the discussion forward, we know that there were some concerns about the 6,500 square foot lots that were proposed. And we are putting on the table that we would be willing to increase the minimum lot size to 7,500 square feet in order to, again, address some of the concerns that were raised by the Planning Commission, hearing those concerns and trying to address those in good faith. So, based on that, we'd like to see, again, some direction from the board in terms of where you'd like to go with this project and just being able to move this forward.
Mr. Weiner, I understand that there was a presentation made to the Planning Commission this past month.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I was not there. As well as a presentation made to the board in early October. Again, unfortunately, I was not there. Did the Planning Commission formally recommend one way or the other?
No. What ended up happening was they got to the point where they were possibly considering making a decision, then decided to table any motion in order to allow this matter to be discussed further with the Board of Supervisors.
And upon your commitment to push back the date of the zoning hearing board,
Which we did.
which you did, which
Yes.
is another reason why they did not make a recommendation.
Do you have a date yet from the zoning hearing board?
No, we left it open-ended. I guess this way, hopefully no later than December 30th. But we did not, we were in front of the Planning Commission, we talked about pushing it back by 1 month. In further discussion on this matter with the solicitor of the zoning hearing board, and in terms of the feasibility and issues that may arise from that, we decided to make it a little more open-ended than that.
So, to put it in perspective, as I understand it, you have an approval for a certain plan.
Correct.
You have revised plans that are starting to make their way through the process here at the township. You're realizing that you need some zoning relief associated with that, including lot size, for which you said will increase from 6,500 to 7,500. You said that tonight. Does the board feel like you have enough information as things stand, or do you think you need some input? And I'd suggest that could come from the PC making recommendations on some of these specific things. I imagine the 7,500 square foot lots is something new to the Planning Commission. since you just brought that up tonight. But I don't even know, has the board received input from your township engineer as regards the plans?
Since the last time?
Yeah. No.
Am I correct, Carol?
Correct.
So it may be that the board would want to, in a sense, table what you're asking for tonight. Get some input from your township engineer. Ask the township engineer to provide that to the planning commission. Let the planning commission discuss that with you, and if there's input from any of the residents, get the planning commission to take that in. Make a recommendation to the board of supervisors. Now you're informed as to what that plan looks like and the different aspects. I'm sure the planning commission will vet that with you. And that way you can then address it. If you don't have a date yet for the zoning hearing and knowing there are advertising requirements, the board should meet again at least once, if not twice, before you actually get a date from the zoning hearing. Because that'll give this board plenty of time to soak up the recommendations of the engineer and the planning commission, and then be able to speak intelligently to the request that you have.
Mr. Bellwether, I hear what you're saying, but that kind of puts us in somewhat of a circuitous situation because the planning commission tabled further discussion to get some feedback from the board of supervisors and allow this matter to be discussed further before the board of supervisors. If we go back, we still don't have any input from the board of supervisors. So
I hear you, but I think a missing part of that puzzle is input from the township engineer on that pump station issue.
Yeah, I think we're kind of going around this a little bit out of sequence. Typically, what should happen is we should have a recommendation from the planning commission based on a detailed review of the feasibility of the plan, which comes from our engineer and potentially other people. And we don't have any of that information. So you're asking us to make comments and potentially some decisions or guidance on a plan which we've only seen in sketch. We have no other details about. So I think it's appropriate for the planning commission to have a thorough review and provide a recommendation to us, in which case we'll have something to go by, and an engineer review.
I know, I hear what you're saying.
And that can all happen before December.
I know you were present before the planning commission. It was an extensive discussion, and I think a pretty healthy discussion. So, you know, and we at length discussed the details of this plan. And again, I think initially we have a fundamental question that the plan commission is looking for input on, and that is, and that we are looking for input on, and that is the concept. Do you want a community-based system, or do you want a system that services simply this property? I mean, that's a fundamental question in terms of what the supervisors would like to see. I don't know that that necessarily needs an engineering review. Obviously, the details of how that would happen would be subject to input from the township engineer.
And I agree with you. I think it's a significant question, and I do think the engineer can provide input, not only as regards to significance and some of the intricacies of how this will affect other aspects of the township. And I think it's for that reason that it makes sense. First stop, engineer, second stop, planning commission. But if the planning commission has no recommendation, then okay, that's what we receive from them. But hopefully they'll have a recommendation based upon further input from the township engineer.
And what I would like to see specifically from you and from Carol is some of the sewage options that have a cost comparable to what it would have cost you for your original approved plan. That is, a pumping station that serves 500 homes on a different piece of property is a completely different expense than a small, modestly sized lift station to serve 75 or 80 homes that potentially could be placed on the property, and there are probably other options in between. So it's not one size fits all, there are multiple options. You have made a commitment to your originally approved plan that has a certain cost associated with it, and you're asking for additional benefits. So I would like to see if there is a reasonably priced solution that may not require those additional benefits.
right, so is the board, do you want to provide direction to Carol to review these revised plans and provide input to the planning commission in response to the request for direction from the developer?
Yes. Yeah.
And then, assuming that Carol, that you'll have this in time for the next planning commission meeting, which is November 21st. Would the board like me to attend the planning commission to work through the issues with the developer and council, hopefully for the benefit of the planning commission?
Obviously, yes.
Okay.
And I would like to specifically request Carol to take into consideration there's more than one sewage option and there's more on this plan. It's not necessarily, that is, it could be a pumping station on your newly acquired property. It could be a lift station on your already owned property, which is called Millville Hills. And it could be maybe something else.
I guess another factor in this, we previously brought this up, but while we are having this discussion, and I think this is hopefully a good faith mutual effort to try to reach a resolution that works for the developer and obviously works for the township itself, township needs. We had previously asked for an extension of time on the existing preliminary plan approval. And again, we're asking for engineering review, we're asking for planning commission input. We would like the consideration of having some extension of time on that preliminary approval. So this can be done in a rational way rather than in a hurried fashion.
All right, so let me tee that up.
I understand what he's saying. So I'd like to see your good faith effort in being more reasonable in some of the variances you're asking for from this township, which would radically change our zoning. So I think we can meet each other halfway. We'd like to see your good faith effort in terms of what happens at our next couple meetings or zoning hearing. And after that, I will commit that I'm fully prepared to offer you the same in return.
I think initially we came in, 5 minutes ago, put on the table one significant feature, and that is increasing the lot size.
Our minimum lot size is 10,000 square
So-
feet. That's not much of an increase.
I'm sorry?
Our minimum lot size is 10,000
I
square feet.
understand, and that's why we're asking for zoning relief, but we're increasing the size of the lots that we're asking for release, and therefore reducing the relief that we'll be asking for these lots, and there are probably some other related relief that might fall away with some of this. So we've taken a step, in a sense, we've negotiated against ourselves, but to put a good step forward and start that dialogue, we had put that on the table. So, I think we are here trying to work in good faith with the township. And again, just putting on the table, this possibility of a community system to begin with. We're certainly not obligated to do that, but it's something that, we've heard some concerns about it, and we're willing to work with you on it. So all this takes time, and to the extent, if we are being pressed on the existing termination date for the preliminary plan approvals, we need to get going on that. And so we don't really have the luxury of even a couple months of time.
Well, we're talking about the next couple of meetings, so I think we'll have a lot more information in the next 30 days. We both will. You're going to wait another 30 days? We have 2 more meetings in the next 30
We
days.
did the 26th
And planning commission on the 21st.
early December. So I guess it sounds like the commitment from the township is to move this forward, not months in the plural, but a month. And it would be fair to say, if for whatever reason Carol can't get a review, the planning commission needs more time, that you'd revisit that request in December.
construction.
So I guess the request to the planning commission would be to place this on their agenda, Melbourne Hills on their agenda for the November meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Township engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on my report has a little background to it that the board is familiar with. We have a lot of new faces here tonight, so I'll try and give a quick overview. Oak Park was purchased many, many years ago, back in the 1980s, in two pieces. One piece was funded with federal grant money, and the piece that was funded with federal grant money included some land on which 20 years after it was acquired, some of the maintenance facilities were placed, the salt shed and such, for the Township Public Works Department. Almost 20 years after that, there was a DCNR notice to the township back in 2016 or 2017 that said, hey, by putting your public works facilities on a piece of that grant-funded land, you violated the terms of that grant and you need to make corrections. And so we've been working through this corrective process. The first step was to do a lot line change on Cobalt Park, which was done in the past year, so that the grant-funded piece now owns land that doesn't include the maintenance area. The maintenance area is on the other piece. It's not under those requirements. The second piece of this, and it's sort of a bureaucratic tangle, but the second piece of this is the township has to donate another piece of land into that program to make up for the piece that was encroached upon, or converted, they call it a partial conversion. So in order to do that, the township was at that time processing what we now know as the Arcadia Station subdivision. And one of the pieces of open space of that subdivision is to be dedicated to the township. And the township will put that into this federal grant conservation program. It got even more complicated when we went to get the appraisal done, because if the appraisal is over a certain value, it gets much more complicated for the appraiser. So the simple answer, it doesn't sound simple, but it was, the simple answer was to divide that open space A into two pieces. So before you tonight is a plan of subdivision for open space A. Now technically that's still owned by the developer. They don't dedicate that to you until all the improvements are complete and accepted. So the township is the applicant for this subdivision, and the developer is still the owner.